Hey, Tom here, Flip Anything USA. So it's a Monday, holiday. Got tenants just moved out of one of my properties. You know, I was kind of mentioning this property and talking about, you know, use money as a tool. I'm trying to emphasize that money is a tool. And so this serves as a good example. I have guys working today. They're picking up all this crap the tenants left behind. They kind of did a good job piling it up, but unless they thought the garbage fairies were going to come pick it up, I don't know what they're thinking, because ended up getting knocked over with the wind and ended up being a mess. But I had some guys that weren't so busy, so they're taking care of this mess. So this property is one I bought. I'm taking you in the backyard a little bit here. It's not a huge yard. It's actually a decent sized lot, but it's a huge house. And this property, I actually had bought this for $105,000 almost 15 years ago. And the reason I know that is because I knew this thing had to be getting close to paid off, because I've actually held this a long time. I used to office out of there. See that? That used to be a garage. I converted that into an office, and my home is not far from here. And this property is really prime. Look behind me. This is a 5-lane road if you count the center lane, and it's a very good neighborhood. And I saw this as potential for commercial anyways, just being it's on a busy street. It's actually not that busy because it's a holiday Monday. But I poured that second driveway you see over there, and had this extra parking area, and I kind of maxed out the non-impervious cover. I went through a bunch of BS with the city on that, but anyways, I always measure everything. So, and I enclosed that garage, and so that added additional square footage. You'll get more for a property usually when you enclose the garage, to be honest, because it becomes livable space, and you get more credit for that, because it's living space now. So this house here, when I bought it, I mean, it's primarily brick all the way around. It's got some siding in between. It was cared for when I bought it, and I've taken care of it. I've had a couple tenants here in the past that have been rough on it. It's got a new roof. I had hail damage here or something a while back. I don't know, probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. But so this property, I thought I maybe owed $20,000, $30,000 on it. I actually checked the books, and I owe $5,000 on this property, $5,600. That's because I got it with a 15-year loan, and I'm just kind of going through it right now. It's got kind of a big entry there, and kind of an open floor plan in here. Goes out to the backyard. This is a well-located property, a very well-located property. Oh, the power's off, I see. Actually, you can see the cabinets are painted. They actually look pretty good. I was actually expecting a whole lot worse, to be honest, because I saw quite a bit. It was very cluttered. It was cluttered to a point that I was quite concerned. But the floors are concrete and stained, and it looks kind of rough in here. I think I was getting $2,200 a month rent. But this actually can serve almost as somebody could buy this house from me, and they could utilize this as a great home office. It's got its own bathroom. It's got an area where people can pull up, and they can do business out this side, and they got the neighborhood side for home activity. So anyways, yeah, like I say, in a blink, 15 years goes by a lot quicker than you think. And I don't know, like I said, I bought quite a few homes, probably 15 homes in this neighborhood. And every time I buy one, I think that I'm keeping it for my kids. Ultimately everything is for them, but boy, this thing's bigger than I remember. So I'm walking through. This is the master. It's got yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's got a master closet back here. So this is like a 2,600 square foot house. So it was a steal when I bought it, And but what I did is I put in that office, or I enclosed the garage and utilized that as an office. and I rented the house out to somebody, and I just kind of used it as an office for myself, just because I didn't need much. You know what I mean? I mean, I tell you what I was doing 15 years ago. You know, my daughter, she didn't understand. I'd put myself in the office, and she's kind of like, "Daddy, why are you hiding from me?" Because she wasn't going to school. And so she felt like I was hiding from her in the house, and started hurting her feelings. So I was like, "Oh, I can't do this. I got to get an office." And so, of course, you know, I didn't really want to rent an office, so I just bought a house nearby. So I did that for a while and just rented the house. And pretty soon I just rented the whole thing as all as one house. But yeah, so this thing, like I say, before you know it, and at $105,000, it's always made money when I rented it because I bought it right. And then on top of that, it's, you know, maybe it'll never go commercial. It doesn't really matter. You know, the neighborhoods, everything's so valuable now. And like, look at this house behind me. I remember that was that one straight across there was $126,000. I could have bought that. It's smaller than this place. And I don't know. Let's go walk over here and we'll see what they're advertising it for. I know the one next to it, they're asking $379,000, and I'll bet it's 1,000 square feet smaller than that one. So this one here that used to be, oh, well, sorry, I'm looking at the flyer. All of them are gone. This, of course, they don't even have a price on it. That irritates me with realtors when they do that. They don't put a price on it. You know, I guess they're just trying to get you to call so they can get your number. You know, I don't know. Anyways, so this property, believe it or not, is probably worth about 500. You know, maybe at a low say, I'll be real conservative. Let's just say 460 to 520,000. You know, at 200 a foot, it would be 520,000, which is pretty much what things are happening now around here. Now it's got some other advantages because, like I say, see, from this side, look at this property. From here, you got like your own office. You can have an office here. You can pull in, and you can pull back out. You can park 4 or 5 cars, 6, actually park 7, 8 cars back here, right? So, for me, this is one of the reasons I liked it, is I could utilize it as a home office. I could have business come and go on this side, and then on this side over here, we're back to, you know, it's residential, right? See, it's all residential. I mean, now technically the property is residential, but who doesn't utilize an office out of their home? And I'm not talking about selling clothes out of the place, you know, but like here, it's kind of cool, right? You got your home here. Everything's like here, you know, but back here it's business. So people can come and go, even if you have a little bit more traffic than normal. You know, you don't want UPS popping in and out of the front of where it interrupts everybody else. Yeah, we'll do something on that, David. I'm getting the thing wrapped up. We'll be talking about a lot of that stuff. But even if you guys are just starting, even if you need kind of or maybe you got a little bit of, you know, business going too at home, you know. You ever think besides property, money will crash? I don't worry about money crashing too much. I mean, it sucks because right now, I mean, money is the cheapest it's ever been, I think, to borrow. People are desperate to get a return. The banks don't give you anything on it. So, you know, real estate I love, but you know what? There may be a day it ain't gonna make sense. I don't know. But it certainly makes sense to buy and flip, and you know, cash. You know, you're always trying to turn your cash into more cash, right? You know, you got to get interest on it, or you got to be able to turn goods or inventory or something. I'm not a stock guy. When people talk to me about stocks, I say, yeah, my stocks are on my shelves. You know, and that's it. My stock is on my shelves. That's the only stuff I really understand, to be quite honest. It bothers me when I see values of a company plummet to half. It's like, what happened? What happened to the assets? You know what I mean? News will sink a company. It's ridiculous. So I think most people should stay away from the stock market. You know, unless you just know something I don't. But I can tell you, I've seen most people don't know. They just don't know. There's so much luck to it that you might as well gamble. That's what I think. But unless you got some sort of inside track on something, which I don't think most people can get, unless they're a politician. But so this property here, though, so I actually told I have a management company manages this, which I'm reminded I need to lock this place up. There's a lockbox on here, so I've got the key. I'm gonna throw it back in the lockbox, and I told them not to renew this lease last year. Yeah. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Well, now money's cheap. You can borrow it really cheap now. And personally, you know, I always thought I would just carry lots and lots of notes when I got older. And bear with me. I gotta set the phone down a sec, guys. Sorry. Putting you can see this lockbox. And now we're ready for somebody else. So, like I say, you know, let's just say this is the only thing I bought, you know. Let's just say I was, you know, like your average guy, just working, and I bought this, $10,000–$15,000 down, and now 15 years later, you know, I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna have $500,000. That's a chunk, man. That's a chunk. You know, I live well within my means, you know, and you know, we all kind of live with what we got, right? And I like, sorry, I'm trying to relocate here without destroying the images here. You know, my point is, you don't have to do a lot, because the money, you can make a lot of money, you know, whatever. I'm making $400,000, and basically I'm getting my $100,000 back that I've been paying, and that was really rents, so I made it all. When you really look at it, I made $500,000 because I bought the property, but somebody else's rent paid for it all, right? So now, like I said, I only owe $5,600 on this property, which, you know, I just drove by and I didn't like the way the property was being taken care of on the outside, to be honest. And so that's why I didn't want to renew their lease last year. And somehow they made a mistake and they extended it, which is not a big deal because the house is probably worth another, you know, $60,000 than it was last year. But really, I would have rather probably had the money. If I'd had the money last year, you know, I'd have, you know, $450, whatever it is, $400,000 then. You know, and I'd have been looking for a building that is probably worth $1 million, or, you know, probably worth a couple $100,000 more today than it was last year. So I would have liked to have gotten the money back last year, but so what? I'm gonna have $500,000. So now I'll be looking, when I close this, I'll be looking for something else. And, you know, like I said, I kind of, each property that I have, or, you know, I have this and maybe one or two other properties that are owned in a, you know, what I call a family limited partnership, or you can call it an LLC, whatever, a separate entity. And, but like I said, oh, I didn't see that question, man. You're gonna have to copy and paste that back in a little bit. Let me finish this point though. So now look, that's there, right? I'm driving over where I bought 7 more houses in this same area. I probably sold one of them. Yeah, so I have 6 more over here right now. And so that house is worth $500,000, and these other ones also over that same period of time. You know, I also own the one behind it, next door to it. No, I don't invest in other states. I've done it a little bit, but, you know, if I know the area particularly well, if it's one that I go to often, I might. Like this was a cool property here. This one here, I think I paid $220 for it. I bought it a few years ago. You know, it's worth at least $450, $460. But that one has another advantage to it as well. The house is located as such, I can split the lot. So I could split the lot and still sell the house for $460. And then I'd have a $100,000 lot I can build something on, or just sell if I want. So technically there's $500,000 there too. I owe a little more on that because I bought that one, I don't know, probably 7 years ago, I don't know. And then in this same little neighborhood, there's only 32 homes in this whole neighborhood, and I've owned as many as, I think, 8 of them right in here. And in fact, where I'm driving right now, I own these 4, 2 corners, and then the 2 houses next to each other. And then I own another one down the street. Well, it's behind me now. And now as I drive here, I've owned that house, I own that house. Flip the other way, I own that 2-story. And then you'll see a little brick house I own too. Kind of having trouble there. So again, this is concentrating on my neighborhood, right? And so whatever, if I got 6, 7, 8, and then see across the street I have, so I got 2, 6, there's 8. I got, where else do I have another one? I have another one somewhere. It's not coming to me yet. Sorry guys. It's tough for me to read these while I'm moving so much right now. But everybody, repaste your questions. Sorry. But my point is, probably within, I don't know, within 10 more years anyway, through a full 15-year cycle on everything that I bought around here. I don't know. Yeah, I bought something probably a little less than that, but again, whatever. 10 homes, average value $400,000, $4 million, right? And that's just a small piece of my portfolio. And that's certainly something just about anybody with a decent job could probably have done. You know, it's like 10, 15 grand down every few years, right? And you know, then you can always sell one, and then you have enough to put down on 5 more, you know. So I guess what I'm saying is, get started. Okay, what mile radius? I don't have anything set. My rules are simple. Buy around your home. Buy where you drive around every day. Now, look behind me. Can you do a split bill deal? Water, light bill? Well, I mean, I have a lot of properties that are shared utilities, and I just pay them all, and I charge people rent, plus I add something for utilities to cover it, to cover what I think they're going to use. But it doesn't change. For them, it's a fixed amount. But my point is that you got to watch my videos. When you ask a question like, what do I think about radius? I know you need to watch more of my videos. Just start from the beginning, because basically my whole deal is, you get your home wherever you live, you drive around that home so you know what values are around your home. Then wherever you happen to go to work, you also look at that too. At work, you buy around your work, because again, that's somewhere where you go to lunch, or you drive around, or whatever you do, you go back and forth, you start looking at that. Now, I'm not talking about looking at houses. You can look at anything, any kind of property, but you get very familiar with those 2 areas. And then you got in between, because you drive from work to home and back, obviously. So that's the next area you concentrate. So a radius around your home, a radius around your work, and then everywhere in between, because you're driving back and forth. Because that's the area that you can most easily check on regularly. And that's what you want to do, is you want to be familiar with the properties in your area. There's no set rule. I inspect. I never hire an inspector to inspect for me. I just never do. I know enough. I don't worry about it. If you don't know what you're looking at, you turn on your AC. If it can blow 57 degrees out of the register, you assume the AC is pretty good. You can take a look at it and judge the equipment if it looks rough or messed up or not. But if it's blowing cold, you go run a hose down the drain where your washer dryer are. Just take a hose and run it for just full bore. Run it, and make sure it doesn't back up. That'll give you a good indication that your drainage is good. Because some people, you buy a house, first tenant moves in, they use the washer, and you find out that there's tree roots or something's stopping it, and now they've got a flood in the house, and you didn't even know it had a problem. So you got to look for things like that. But usually everybody's got a friend, right, that knows a little bit about real estate or construction. or plumbing or whatever. But the bottom line is, I'm real comfortable inspecting everything for myself. But if I wasn't, I'd go get somebody. If I thought I needed a second opinion, I would still do that. I do that on some big stuff. I'm always concerned with like 3-phase electricity on the big commercial and industrial buildings, because that's important to have that for a lot of people that are into business and manufacturing. Bills are a little lower too, running everything through 3-phase electricity. But my point is, find something, buy it right, buy it under market. If you buy it under market, then you can take a chance. If you want to speculate a little bit and hold. I mean, I held stuff not really so much for speculation as I just want my kids to have a house nearby here. And then I started like, well, they'd like that one. Well, they'd like this one too. And then pretty soon, right now I have more houses than I need for sure. And to be honest, they're so valuable. When your houses start pushing, $500,000 value, and the rents are only $2,000 a month, it's not a good investment. I mean, so like here, there's $4 million that maybe I'm getting. Jeez, I doubt I'm even getting I doubt I'm getting a 3% return on it, to be honest. Yeah, it doesn't matter where you live. If you're living in a desirable area, that's where you want to buy. I mean, that's where you want to flip. It's all